Super Bowl is just in a couple of days, so we are getting closer to the NFL draft. The Washington Commanders have the second pick in the draft. I'll be doing a 7-round mock draft for Washington from a Pro Football Network mock draft simulator. So they have the second pick, like I said. With the second pick, I have them taking LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels. Sam Howell was the starting quarterback for Washington this past season. There was times he looked good, other times he did not look good at all. Some may say part of the issue was his offensive line. His offensive line was terrible. He was most at quarterback in the NFL last season. But when you're a team who's in the rebuilding stage, like Washington, with a new head coach, you want to go ahead and get your franchise quarterback. And I think Daniels could be that. He was the best college quarterback in the country last season. He won the Heisman with LSU. I think this is a good pick for Washington. Maybe if they don't want to take a quarterback with a second pick, maybe they can trade back around 15 to 20, get some more draft capital since they're kind of rebuilding. Maybe get a guy like Bo Nix instead. But I think getting Jayden Daniels here with the second pick is a very smart idea for the Washington Commanders. Like I said, the offensive line for Washington was a big issue this past season. With their second-round pick, the 36th pick overall, I have them taking BYU offensive tackle Kingsley Suamataia. I'm pretty sure I messed up his last name, but he's the best offensive lineman here by far. Him and Patrick Paul. I think Paul, the offensive tackle from Houston, I've seen him be around this range, but I think when the time draft day comes, he's going to be a top 25 pick. So they get the offensive tackle here that they so desperately need, whether it's Jayden Daniels, maybe even Drake May, Sam Howell, whoever the quarterback is, they need protection, and they get protection here with their second-round pick. They have 2 second-round picks with a 40th pick overall. They take Miami, Florida defensive tackle Leonard Taylor. This is a great pickup here. I've seen Leonard Taylor be drafted around the 25 range, so this is a great value pick here, getting some more defensive lineman help. They traded Montez Sweat. They traded Chase Young. They don't really have the great defensive line that they did a couple of years ago, so getting Leonard Taylor here would be a great idea for Washington. And especially, I wouldn't be surprised if Washington maybe kind of goes defensive heavy in the draft. With them getting Dan Quinn, a defensive-minded coach, I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to get some, young, new players on defense to kind of build your defense around. I think Taylor would be a good guy to maybe build your defensive line around. Another guy I think Washington could build their team around is Jeremiah Trotter Jr., the linebacker from Clemson, and they get him here with the 67th pick overall. This is a great selection. Trotter Jr. is arguably the best linebacker in the draft. This linebacker class is pretty weak, but getting arguably one of the best linebackers in the third round is very, very good, especially for your Washington when you try to get better linebackers in the offseason. This is a great pickup here for Washington. Washington has another third-round pick, and with their other third-round pick, they take Michigan wide receiver Roman Wilson with the 100th pick overall. Wilson was a beast last year for Michigan. He had 48 receptions, 800 yards, and 12 touchdowns. 25% of his receptions were touchdowns. It seemed that anytime he had the ball in his hands, he was scoring a touchdown for Michigan. Whoever your quarterback is, whether it's Daniels, Sam Howell, Drake May, whoever, you want to have weapons. Getting a nice young weapon for whoever your quarterback is a really smart idea for Washington, especially getting a guy like Roman Wilson, who honestly should probably not even be here with the 100th pick. Washington has 1 4th-round pick, and they take TCU cornerback Josh Newton. Washington's secondary was not as good as it has been in the past this past season. Newton would not be a bad pick here with the 102nd pick overall. Also, another guy to keep an eye on to me is Willie Drew, the corner from Virginia State. He's one of the most underrated corners in the draft. I would not be surprised, and maybe Washington takes Drew here if Josh Newton from TCU is already gone here. In the 5th round, Washington takes Marshall offensive tackle Ethan Driscoll. Like I said, Washington's offensive line was very, very bad. Sam Howell was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL last season. Ethan Driscoll is absolute beast. He is huge. He is 6'9", 330 pounds. He was invited to the Senior Bowl this past week. I've seen his projections go anywhere from the 5th round to the 7th round. I don't think this would be a bad pickup here for Washington. Get some more offensive lineman help here in the later rounds. In the 6th round here, they take Iowa tight end Eric All. It seems like Iowa produces tight ends better than anybody. I mean, TJ Hawkinson, Noah Fant, George Kittle. There's just so many tight ends that Iowa has produced throughout the years. Last season, Eric All had 21 receptions for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's one of those things, why not take a chance on an Iowa tight end? Because it seems like every Iowa tight end produces very well in the NFL. Washington can use some more tight end help anyway, and he's probably the best tight end around ranges 6th and 7th round. So I think a good pickup here for the Washington Commanders. On Washington's final pick here at the draft to take defensive tackle from James Madison, Jamari Crowmall. He was an absolute beast for James Madison last season. As a defensive tackle, he had 19.5 tackles for loss and 10 sacks. He was a beast along with Jalen Green, the edge rusher for James Madison. This is a great value pick here. I think he's one of the more underrated players in this draft. But, this is the 7th-round mock draft for the Washington Commanders from a Pro Football Network mock draft simulator. That about does it for this video. If you're new to my channel or we've seen videos before, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time on the Sports Stu Hines Show.